Let's dive into the second conditional, an essential structure in English that you can use to talk about hypothetical or unreal situations. The second conditional is particularly useful when you want to discuss what you would do in imaginary scenarios or situations that are unlikely to happen. The structure of the second conditional is similar to the first conditional, but with a few key differences. It consists of two parts, the if clause and the main clause. The if clause contains the condition, and the main clause contains the result or consequence. The formula looks like this: if plus past simple plus would plus base form of the verb. Let's break that down with an example. If I won the lottery, I would travel the world. Here, if I won the lottery is the condition, and I would travel the world is the result. This sentence means that traveling the world depends on the hypothetical situation of winning the lottery. Now let's look at the two parts in more detail. The if clause uses the past simple tense to talk about the condition, even though it's not a real past event. This is because the second conditional is used for unreal or improbable situations. For example, if I had more time, I would learn a new language. Notice that we use had in the past simple, even though we're talking about a present hypothetical situation. In the main clause, we use would followed by the base form of the verb to describe what would happen if the condition in the if clause were true. For example, if she knew his number, she would call him. The main clause, she would call him, describes the likely result if the hypothetical condition, she knew his number, were true. It's important to note that the second conditional is all about situations that are unlikely or purely imaginary. We use it when we want to express what we would do in a situation that is not real or is very unlikely to happen. For example, if I were you, I would take that job. In this sentence, the speaker is imagining being in someone else's position, which is clearly hypothetical. Let's explore a few more examples to make this even clearer. If I lived in New York, I would go to Central Park every weekend. This sentence means that going to Central Park every weekend depends on the imaginary situation of living in New York. Here's another one. If they had a car, they would drive to the beach. This example shows that driving to the beach depends on the hypothetical situation of having a car. Now let's briefly touch on the negative form. You can easily make the second conditional negative by adding not. For example, if I didn't have to work tomorrow, I would stay up late. The condition is not having to work, and the result is staying up late. In this case, both the if clause and the main clause can be negative, depending on what you want to say. Lastly, it's worth mentioning that you can also use other modal verbs instead of would in the main clause to express different degrees of certainty or to make offers and suggestions. For example, if I had more money, I could buy a new phone. Here, could suggests a possibility rather than a certainty. Another example could be, if he knew about the problem, he might try to fix it. Using might here indicates that the action is less certain. Thank you for watching. Leave an example of the second conditional below and then watch another one of our videos.